Welcome to a place where you can belong before you believe.
Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we want to help you take your next steps toward Jesus.
We want to empower anyone, anywhere to join God's Spirit on the journey toward wholeness and flourishing.
We are a gathered and scattered church located on Wright Park in Tacoma, Washington.
And in homes, parks, backyards, and online.
We have individuals placed all over Pierce County and beyond, planted by God in zip codes, workplaces, and networks.
We exist to send and support our people in these places to bloom where they are planted.
We are Garden City.
Welcome to Garden City, everybody. We're excited you're here with us. Sing through the fire, praise when it don't make sense. Sometimes you gotta stare down the giant, worship from the lion's den. Sometimes you gotta shout it from the mountains, louder in the valley, trusting that he's gonna get you there. Sometimes you gotta welcome the wonder, wait for the answers, worship with your hands in the air. I'll praise you anywhere and faithful all my life, blessings day and night, countless reasons why. I'll praise you anywhere and every promise kept, goodness every step, each and every breath. I'll praise you anywhere.
We just launched our first public service at our new building here on the green of Wright Park, and we are so excited. And I want to invite you, if you haven't been out, we're meeting every Sunday here at 10 a.m., and it's just really exciting for our church. Now, if you're new, I just want to let you know a little bit about our heart, what as a church we're about. And the first thing is we want to help people join Jesus on a journey toward wholeness and flourishing. And on that journey, we find there's some important steps. One of those is we want to help people belong before they believe or as they believe. We want people to be able to explore the way of Jesus, to build friendships and kick the tires of Christianity before they feel like they have to commit. So you can belong before you believe. And then we want to help everyone that sets foot on this, on this property, everyone who encounters our church, to learn to be love where they live, to be loved the best of their ability. And we feel like love is like the best shape of love, the best source of love is Jesus Christ. He's the lens by which we look at the world and try to move toward in our own lives. And so that's really, really important to us. And there's a verse I wanted to share with you that's, again, it's a heartbeat verse for our church. And it's found in Jeremiah 29, verse 7. And it says this: "Work for the flourishing of the city I have sent you to. Pray to the Lord for that city. If it flourishes, you too will flourish." And I love that. And there's a few things I just wanted to mention about this verse that is so important to our church. The first is it covers this concept of flourishing. The word that's used there is shalom. And shalom is this beautiful Hebrew word that really tries to get at this idea of everything right and beautiful. Some English words for shalom are peace, wholeness, well-being. Some say the best word for in English is flourishing. I love the idea that we're on a journey learning to not only help ourselves flourish, but others flourish. And in this verse, it says, help our city flourish. And for people to really have that sense of wholeness, that sense of shalom, we want to help them in all dimensions of their life to have connection with God, with themselves, with each other, and with the planet, and with creation. And for that to happen, we really seek to learn from Jesus what a flourishing life looks like. The other element I wanted to mention was this verse is work or seek the flourishing of the city to which I've called you. This was written to a bunch of exiles, people who had, against their will, been moved from their home nation in Israel to Babylon. They were moved to a culture and a place they did not want to be. They felt stuck. But this verse reminds them that God has not just like stuck them there. He has sent them there to work for flourishing, to help others, even their enemies, flourish. I love that you and I are called into this story, that we're not stuck. We're sent to be love and to help others find wholeness and flourishing, to help others find that rightness between themselves, others, creation, and especially with God. And that's one of our goals. Wherever you find yourself, we have people that are from different communities and different cities, different neighborhoods. You and I are called to help those areas flourish to the best of our ability. And in this new building and this new space that we have, we want to help this area as a church collectively flourish. It's not just about us. It's not just about me and you. It's about helping the world around us find wholeness. The last thing in this verse that I think is really important is pray to the Lord for that city. And I want to encourage you to be praying for your community where you find yourself at work, in your neighborhoods, and maybe where you find yourself recreating and playing. To do those things, actively praying and thinking and seeking the well-being and flourishing of those areas. Now, we also wanted to tell a little bit of the story of how we got here to our new building. And again, if you haven't been, you got to come. It's amazing. But here's a little bit of the story of how we've gotten here. So first, I want to just show you a little bit of the timeline, and you can look at this here. But in April 2020, so a few years ago, we began a building search. This was in the pandemic. We had a piece of property that we had purchased prior, but it became very evident to our leadership that the wisest thing was to find brick and mortar. That material costs and just all the things going on in the world made it really difficult to build something that we would want. And so we began looking for a property, something that was already built. And on September 15th, 2023, we put an offer in on this building on 407 G Street, South G Street. And the offer was accepted on September 25th, and away we went. And we also had this property that we owned. So we listed this property January 12th, 2024. And then that property actually sold March 15th this year. And just to give you a little snapshot of the Puyallup property that we sold, it was really amazing. We saw God's fingerprints all over it. We'd originally bought that property for $665,000, and we ended up selling it for $1.065 million. And that was just incredible for our church. You can look at the numbers there. From the proceeds of that sale, we were able to have a new facilities position and hopefully some future hires come from the proceeds. We were able to have the ability to pay down our mortgage, in the sense that we were carrying basically two mortgages. We were renting Cascade and we were carrying the mortgage of this building. And that enabled us to carry that for a little while until we moved into this new space and didn't have to carry both the rental of Cascade and our current mortgage. Now we're just on our current mortgage, and that sale of the property enabled and bridged that gap. Then also, we used our reserves for the down payment of this property that we currently own. And the sale, again, the sale of that property in Puyallup filled our reserves back up so that we could be strong and healthy in this season of transition. Now let's jump into a little bit of the first phase, what's happened and what's going on. We really targeted just getting in the building, what needed to be done, what facelifts needed to be done, what heavy lifting needed to be done to get in. And then there's other areas of the building that are still in kind of a developmental transitional stage. But we really focused on upgrading electrical. We worked on a facelift in the downstairs bathroom, giving the facility just the facelifts of paint and all kinds of cool things. We created a kids area, and that's going to be under continued development as we go forward into phase 2. But we worked a bit on that. We installed a new warming kitchen, which is awesome to have. We even rebuilt and redesigned the stage that could really help with storage of chairs and maximize space. And I want to celebrate that. That was an incredible moment. We had a leader named Derek Getz who designed it, helped build it, catalyzed a team around it. He and Mike Rabb did an amazing job building this stage that could create like what we hope to be a really great performing arts venue down the road so that other people can use it. Not only our church, but we can use it for all kinds of things. And the stage has just a beauty to it. They really, there was like a consideration given to the park that we're in around the turn of the century. There was actually like old sequoia, old redwoods that had been cut down that they turned into the turn of the century stages. And they served as a stage to the park. The design and shape of this stage took that into account and pay homage to those days in the park on those grandstand stages. And so like there was a lot of thought put into the design of everything that's happened so far in the first stage. And I want to mention just the power of community. Like we couldn't be where we're at with this building without all the volunteers, all the people who have poured blood, sweat, and tears, painting and helping with the stage and, moving things in, moving things out. It's just been so amazing. And the facelift and this first stage. And there's so many names I could mention, and we will down the road. But I just want to thank you if you've been involved or you've even been praying for us. Thank you so much for being involved in this. This truly is the power of community. When we come together, we can accomplish amazing things. I also want to highlight the contractors who helped. We had some incredible contractors come and help, whether it was paint or electric and other areas of facelifting in the building. And we were really having to be frugal in this first stage because we wanted to get you in the room. We wanted you to be able to experience this place before we did like a major financial campaign. So you could see just the beauty and the potential in this building. We had to be really frugal, and there were some bids that were coming in way too high for us with our budget. And it was amazing to see, like, there were some contractors that when they heard the vision, the dream for this, and I think really felt what I would call God's presence at work in this place. There was a response where contractors came down to, a budget that we needed so that we could accomplish it. It was unbelievable. And these contractors did amazing work, and they saw the vision they got, and they joined in on it. And we couldn't be where we're at without them. And many of them didn't even go to our church. Some of them don't go to church at all, but there was just something that compelled them. And, I think some of us who follow Jesus know what that spirit is that kind of moves us. But it was amazing to see God's spirit at work through these contractors. I wanted to highlight one. His name's Brian Gross. He did the electric, and this guy had a smile on his face, did incredible work, and really was a great partner. And I just want to lift him up and thank him, and so many others that were helpful in this process. See Brian, give him a hug, give him a high five. The heart of this project, I think there's a remarkable unity behind it, a unity of vision, a unity of working together, and the enthusiasm behind this vision. There's this willingness to contribute talents and gifts that everybody's brought in, whether it was contractors, it was volunteers, it was staff members, it just all of it has amounted to shaping a project that's a testament to collaboration and inspiration. And I think in the midst of it all, like the faithfulness of God has just brought us to this beautiful point where we can begin moving forward in use of this space. We've moved out of phase 1, and we're actually moving into phase 2, and we're so thrilled about this. I want to invite you to come back next week as we dream about what could be as we continue to help this building reach its potential and be a place that we know that the brick and mortar is church is about people, but a building houses people, and a building, once you shape it, it begins to shape you. And so our hope is that this is a shape on us and our community that causes flourishing, wholeness, and well-being in a way that's shaped like Jesus. So come back and hear more about that. Let me read that verse again, that theme verse for today. Work for the flourishing of the city I have sent you to. Pray to the Lord for that city. If it flourishes, you too will flourish. So we're going to pray right now. And we're living in a troubled world. You don't have to look far to see that we live in troubled and difficult times and hurting times, and sometimes even scary. And so we're going to pray for the shalom of our world, the shalom and the flourishing and the peace of our cities and our communities. Let's do that together now. Jesus, we ask that you would be our Prince of Peace, our Prince of Shalom. Would you help us to walk in that kind of peace and shalom? Would you help us to be people who are stewards of flourishing, to do the best that we can, the best of our ability, to join you in what you're doing and restoring the world around us. And God, as you've been restoring this building, I pray that you restore our lives and you restore our cities and our communities. We need you, Jesus. Would you lead us and would we follow to the best of our ability? In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, I love you so much. We'll see you next week.